7, we are going to try again. There is a Congresswoman, Lauren Boebert. Glad that hopefully this technical difficulty
yes, looks
has
much
been figured
better.
out. Congresswoman, we had just started asking you about your priorities now. Obviously, before you were leading what some would call the opposition to Kevin McCarthy being Speaker of the House, and then your present vote helped him get the gavel. So what changed in that time, and what are your priorities now?
Yes, well, my constituents told me for a lot of years now that Congress is broken, and I've seen that firsthand. So this last week, I joined 20 of my colleagues to engage in rigorous debate about what was wrong with Congress and how we could actually fix it. And I believe that we were able to get the concessions that we have been working on for months. In the summer, we started these negotiations saying that we wanted to empower each individual member of Congress to be able to represent their constituents back home. No more are we going to consolidate power to leadership, to the speaker. We want that diluted to each individual member. And huge shout out and credit to Speaker McCarthy, who saw the merit in our requests and agreed to them. It is very rare to find someone in power willing to give up control. I believe that we're going to see a more unified Congress because of this, a more unified Republican Party, and we are going to be able to govern as we campaigned. These were amazing concessions that were made that include single subject legislation. We have that in Colorado. In fact, there are 47 states nationwide in their state legislature that require single subject legislation with germaneness rules, so you can't go off topic. And that is something we now have in the House of Representatives. This is a massive win. No more $1.7 trillion omnibus bills passed in the dead of night without having time to read it. We're going to have 72 full hours to read each and every bill that comes to the House floor. These are massive victories for each member of Congress and for the American people.
So second part of that question, your priorities here, I imagine one of them is the southern border. We know President Biden is in Mexico today for a conference with Mexico and Canada's leaders. We have a migrant crisis here in Colorado right now. Talk about that issue, what you'd like to see happen, and other priorities.
Yes, so this was another demand that was made as part of our concessions list. We wanted the Texas-built border plan to come to the House floor for a vote. We need the southern border secure. It took President Biden over 700 days to actually visit the southern border, which is very discouraging to me. I've been to the southern border 3 times. I've seen firsthand the invasion that is taking place. I've talked to to Border Patrol agents, and they want to be able to have the policies in place to do their job. So I'm hoping we can come to an agreement to actually secure the southern border, stop the invasion, stop this endless flow of fentanyl that is coming into our country and destroying the lives of so many American citizens.
You've previously called for the impeachment of the Homeland Security Secretary over the issues at the border that you were just talking about. Would you still like to see that happen?
Absolutely. Secretary Mayorkas is allowing this invasion to take place. This is willful and deliberate. He has been in administrations where we've had operational security, operational control at the southern border, and he knows how to implement that. He is choosing to have a wide open southern border and then has even lied to Congress and the American people about the southern border, claiming it to be secure when month after month we continue to break records of people who are coming into our country illegally on a daily basis. We have to bring him in, use our subpoena authority, bring him in, question him, and accountability needs to be set forth. This isn't for political theater. We want to actually hold people accountable. That is very important.
All right, as long as we have. All right, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert there. Do we have her? Okay. Want to ask you, Congresswoman, an Associated Press article quoted some of your constituents, some of your supporters in your district as saying they'd like you at times to tone down, this was a quote, nasty rhetoric and focus on the issues at hand. Do you have a response to that? And will you be changing your approach now after winning a pretty tight race in your district?
So I think you're seeing that in action. Being in the majority definitely has a lot of responsibility that bears a lot of weight. And the nasty rhetoric I think they're talking about is just the personal back and forth. What we saw last week was Congress debating, and it was a beautiful thing. We took a few extra days, but that was necessary to get this right. The second in line to the presidency of the United States. It's okay to have a few extra discussions about what that is going to look like, what a unified Republican Party is going to look like moving forward, and how we will serve our constituents better.
Well, it seemed like some of those discussions might have had some expletives, maybe. Hard to tell. We're just kind of lip reading from the C-SPAN video, but it seemed like someone who we thought was maybe an ally of yours, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Congresswoman, and you might have been exchanging some heated words. Do you have any comment on that, or is it just heated day at the office?
Yeah, I was certainly telling people that they needed to leave and quit trying to use these bully tactics to get us to change our votes. There were no expletives exchanged whatsoever, but there were many people that were surrounding Congressman Matt Gaetz and I, and even one of whom had a very animated moment. Matt Gaetz has reached out and discussed that. The other member has apologized for his action. Congressman Matt Gaetz accepted that apology and is ready and eager to move forward and govern here in the 118th Congress. So there are a lot of conversations that take place on the House floor, but I promise no foul language was used in that moment, as some rumors may say.
All right. Congresswoman Boebert, thank you for your time today. Getting down to work, first things first, you have committees you are seeking to be on now. Tell us just kind of what are the first goals here in these first weeks?
Yeah, so I have served on the Natural Resources Committee for 2 years now, and I expect to stay there and really put forward the issues that Colorado's 3rd District cares about the most when it comes to our public lands, managing our forests, being good stewards of our land, and of course, water projects and water resiliency. This is a #1 issue in my district, certainly, and then as for Colorado as a whole. So these are the issues that I want to tackle immediately and be a proponent for, and being on the Natural Resources Committee makes that a priority.
And Congresswoman Boebert, we mentioned the slim victory that you had after a recount with about over 500 votes. What are the lessons that you learned from that you're taking with you now going into the new session?
My lesson is get a third-party candidate in these races, because in 2020 we had several of them, and that was able to make that victory quick and easy. It was just me and the Democrat opponent in this race, and it was close, I believe, for that exact reason. But I won with 51% of the vote in 2020, and I won with 51% of the vote in 2022. So I think that we're doing all right there in the district, and I will continue to travel the district very aggressively, as I have now for 3 years, and serve my constituents well as I hear what priorities matter to them most and represent them as their representative here in D.C.
Well, you know, with it so divided across the country, not just in your district, how do you work to heal divisions? Clearly, there are some just within your own party, but I mean, how do you reach out to Democrats who voted against you?
Well, being present is massive. Listening and actually discussing what's going on. Unfortunately, I don't have the privilege of local media in the district talking about the things that have actually been done in Congress. It's always these bright, shiny objects that are discussed that usually paint a bad picture and go with the narrative that I shouldn't be here. But there are many things that we are doing. I've even confronted one of my local newspapers saying that I sent them 12 different press releases talking about the work that was actually being done successfully. And they admitted that they chose not to report on those issues. So it's up to me to be present in the district and communicate everything that is being done in Washington, D.C. to all of my constituents, not just Republicans only.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert.
Thank you so much for your time, and good luck, absolutely, in this session.